All right, Hare Krishna. So, today we will continue the theme of which we took off in session 6. Today is actually not session 6. Which session is today? Class 8 or 9? 9. Today is 9. Session 9. Okay, even if it's 8, it's okay. So, the theme continues of the absolute truth and the demigods. But before we begin, is there anyone who is coming to this program for the very first time? Please raise your hand and please introduce yourself. Prabhuji, would you like to introduce yourself? We have a format here, your name and how many years you have lived in Melbourne, your profession, field, occupation, who have you come with, and a single sentence of what you expect from this seminar. You can be seated there itself. Are you able to see this or shall I?
It's okay, sir.
It's okay? Okay.
हिंदी में बोलूँ या
हिंदी में बोलिए. आप बेटा बोल सकते हैं मुझे, आप सर मत बोलिए मुझे. आप बुजुर्ग हो, आप मेरे पिता के समान हो.
सर मैं इंडिया में पंजाब में पटियाला से हूँ.
हरे कृष्णा.
यहाँ एक कॉलेज है मोदी कॉलेज और फिर नाउन कॉलेज है. मैं उसमें पढ़ाता रहा हूँ फॉर 40 years.
हरे कृष्णा.
मेडिकल साइंसेज मेरा सब्जेक्ट है वैसे.
हरे कृष्णा.
तो बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स और बहुत सारे इसी फील्ड के लोग मेलबर्न में भी हैं, perhaps all over the world. मेरी उम्र लगभग 75 साल है, 75 years.
हरे कृष्णा.
कुछ महीनों के बाद, कुछ दिनों के बाद तकरीबन 75 हो जाऊंगा आने वाले साल में शुरू में.
हरे कृष्णा.
मेलबर्न में पहले मैं कई बार आया हूँ. मैं विजिटर हो रही है. अब पिछले 7 महीने से आया हूँ. मुझे लगता है आते ही मुझे ऐसे लगा कि मैं बहुत लेट हो गया यहाँ आते. पर एनीहाउ जब भी आओ सर्विस वगैरह.
कितने समय के लिए हो आप मेलबर्न में अभी?
मैं अभी और 1-2 महीने होंगे.
1-2 महीने. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है.
पता नहीं है, चाहे थोड़ा और भी रह जाए. नॉट वेरी श्योर. मोस्ट प्रोबेबली अप टू जनवरी और सो देखूंगा.
किसके साथ आए हो आप?
मेरा
ओह योर ओके. हरे कृष्णा.
मेरा यहाँ बेटा रहता है.
हाँ.
वो काफ़ी देर से है यहाँ पर.
हाँ हाँ.
पॉइंट बुक में ही रहता है.
अच्छा.
ब्लॉक में रहता है.
अच्छा.
मैं भी आता जाता रहता हूँ. ऐसे कई बार आया हूँ. पहले मैं आता था शॉर्ट पीरियड के लिए फॉर सम टाइम, मे बी फॉर फ्यू वीक्स.
ओके.
आके चला जाता है. इस बार थोड़ा सा लंबे डिस्टेंस के लिए आया हूँ. आपके चरणों में हूँ, गुरु के चरणों में हूँ. वहाँ वो सेंट किल्डा के पास जो हरे कृष्णा टेम्पल है, मैं वहाँ पहले बहुत जाता था. अब शायद यहाँ से वो दूर पड़ता है, मैं वैसे नहीं जा पाता. वहाँ मैं तकरीबन डेली जाता था. और एक मुझे नाम याद नहीं है, पटियाला की एक लड़की थी वहाँ पर, शायद शर्मा है. उसके फादर को तो मैं जानता हूँ. बस कर.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं बोलिए ना. हाँ.
बोलने की आदत है.
मुझे भी है.
चलो इतना बहुत है, फिर बात करते हैं.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. आप वो प्रीति शर्मा तो नहीं है जो जिस?
हाँ एग्जैक्टली.
अच्छा ठीक है.
वो भी हमारे बच्ची है एक तरह की, प्रीति शर्मा की.
ठीक है. थैंक यू. बहुत अच्छा लगा आप आए यहाँ पे. प्लीज आते रहिए. थैंक यू.
शर्मा का परिवार.
थैंक यू. वेलकम. आपका स्वागत. थैंक यू. Anyone else for the first time? Yes. We have a format for introducing. Can you pass the mic here, please? So that
That's okay. I'll just.
others may not be able to hear. I don't know. It's a Friday evening. We would have lost our voice Monday to Thursday in office.
Hello.
Yes.
So my name is Prashant. And,
Prashant.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been in Melbourne for almost 4 years, and
2-3 years, you said?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
All right. 1 minute. We'll have to just 1 minute, Prashant ji, because there's some disturbance now. So we'll request everyone to settle down. Thank you so much for settling down. Yeah.
Yes, I've been in Melbourne for 4 years. Before that, I was in Adelaide.
Yes.
So all in all, I've been here for almost 14 years in Australia.
14 years.
Yeah. In
Okay.
Australia, I've been 14 years, and profession-wise, I just work for an energy company as a consultant. I come with my parents, my mom and dad. They're sitting at the back.
Namaste. Hare Krishna.
And I come with my twin boys as well, so they
Oh, they are in there.
they're
Okay.
there.
All right.
And in single sentence, what you expect from the seminar, I would say knowledge.
Okay. How did you come to know of this program?
I'm from Kunal.
Okay. Thank you. He was your salesman. Okay, hopefully we will not disappoint you. And him. थैंक यू वेरी मच, वेलकम। माता पिता कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? विच लैंग्वेज डू यू स्पीक? गुजराती। हाँ, થોડું થોડું આવડે. હું વાઇફ ગુજરાતી છે. માય વાઇફ ઇઝ ગુજરાતી, આઈ એમ નોટ.
वैसे अहमदाबाद गुजरात से आया हूँ, एक बड़ा लड़का है मेरा,
अच्छा,
और आते जाते रहते दोनों बच्चों के लिए।
बैठिए बैठिए बैठिए, बात कीजिए.
रिटायर्ड गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर हूँ।
अच्छा, वेरी गुड,
Now I'm enjoying our retired life.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. हरे कृष्णा, वेलकम. माता जी कुछ बोलना चाहेंगी? आप दोनों का स्वागत हमारे प्रोग्राम पे. थैंक यू. ऑल राइट, एनीवन एल्स फर्स्ट टाइम? ओके. ओह, ओके. हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा.
मैं उत्तराखंड काशी प्रदेश से आई हुई हूँ
हरे कृष्णा.
अपनी बेटी से मिलने।
कौन जो अरे वाह, हाँ, ओके ओके.
बेबीज हुए थे इनके, तो कोरोना टाइम में मिलना ही नहीं हुआ है। 2 साल के हो गए अब, तो 20 दिन के।
कब आए आप?
अभी हम आए थे
17 नवंबर. अच्छा, ठीक है.
8 को चले जाएंगे, 8 दिसंबर।
इतनी जल्दी?
माय हस्बैंड इज ए डॉक्टर।
अच्छा अच्छा, ओके ओके
हॉस्पिटल में ज़्यादा लंबा छोड़ नहीं सकते।
ओके, ठीक है. यहाँ भी हम लोग थोड़ा आई सर्जरी कर रहे हैं. वी हैव टू डेवलप आईज टू सी द लॉर्ड.
बच्चों को इतने अच्छे आप सिखाते हैं, उसके लिए मैंने कहा कि हम लोग भगवत, मैंने कहा चलो बहुत अच्छी बात है, छोटे छोटे बच्चे सीख रहे हैं।
थैंक यू सो मच. बहुत अच्छा लगा आप आए. बट अगला बार थोड़ा लंबे के लिए आना. ठीक है. ऑल राइट, रेडी एवरीवन? सो लास्ट क्लास, हाँ एवरी इंग्लिश ठीक है सबके लिए? अगर कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आए तो हाथ उठा लेना इमीडिएटली, ठीक है? हिंदी में बोलूँगा. एंड इफ आई ब्रेक आउट इन हिंदी इनअडवर्टेंटली, यू प्लीज स्टॉप मी, ओके? एंड इफ आई डोंट ट्रांसलेट इट फॉर यू, राइट नाउ इट वाज देयर इंट्रोडक्शन, सो आई डिड नॉट. ओके ओके, या. वेयर इज योर सिस्टर टुडे? Okay. All right. So, last class, since the last 2-3 classes, we have been talking about the theme of the absolute truth and demigods. So, today what I'll do is, I'll invest some time in talking about the absolute truth a bit more. Okay. So, we understand what is this absolute truth that the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam talk about. परम सत्यम धीमहि, जो संस्कृत में बोलते हैं परम सत्यम, वो परम सत्यम है क्या? आई एम ट्रांसलेटिंग वॉट एवर आई स्पोक इन इंग्लिश नाउ. ओके, वो परम सत्यम है क्या? भगवान का संपूर्ण ज्ञान क्या है? ये आज हम थोड़ा उसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे. मैंने एक श्रीमद् भागवतम, आई हैड स्पोकन वन वर्स फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम around 2 weeks back. Okay, I'm not expecting anyone to remember that. Okay, but if this internet can show up here, whatever then I would like that verse to be open, if you don't mind. This is the first time we are introducing you seriously to some shloka. All of us will recite this today, because this is the shloka which talks about the absolute truth. Now, why am I showing this shloka? How many shlokas Srimad Bhagavatam has? How many verses Srimad Bhagavatam has got? 18,000 verses. And this particular verse, why we have chosen for you today, is because this verse is called as the Paribhasha Sutra of the Vedas. ये जो आज वर्स हम देख रहे हैं, ध्यान मत छोड़िएगा यहाँ पे. ओके ओके, ये वर्स हम जो आप देख रहे हैं, इसको क्या बोलते हैं? परिभाषा सूत्र ऑफ द वेदास. इन सिंपल इंग्लिश, दिस वर्स is called as the emperor verse of the Vedas. Emperor verse, which means the king of verses of all the Vedas. It is a summum bona because it explains the absolute truth. So all of us will chant this together. Okay, I'll lead and all of you can follow. Vadanti tat tattva vedas. Vadanti tat tattva vedas. Tattvam yajnanam advayam. तत्वं यज्ञानमद्वयम् ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवान् इति शब्द्यते भगवान् इति शब्द्यते. Okay. Now what is the translation to these words? Okay. Can any one of you volunteers read it loudly, slowly, nicely?
What is that word?
Transcendent.
Translationist. You know the absolute truth called this non-dual substance, Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagwan.
Okay. And anyone else read it loudly? Any adult this time? Please. Thank you for reading. No one wants to read? Okay. I was wondering. Okay, no one wants to read.
Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan.
Thank you. You want to read? This has to register nicely in our mind now, today.
Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan.
Okay, thank you. Okay. ठीक है? Okay. अब इसके ऊपर हम डिस्कस करते हैं आज. We will request your attention for another 58 minutes. Full attention. मन बहकेगा इधर उधर. मन अपने को लेके जाता है. भगवान के बारे में जब भी हम डिस्कस करते हैं ना, मन हमको इधर उधर लेके जाता है. हम उधर देखते हैं, इधर देखते हैं, फिर इधर ऐसा. दिस इज व्हाट माइंड विल डू. उस माइंड को क्या करना चाहिए? वापस लाना चाहिए. क्यों? किसके लिए लाना चाहिए? खुद के लिए. खुद के लिए. वी हैव टू ब्रिंग द माइंड बैक to the topic. We have to focus on the Lord now. We have to concentrate because we are discussing the absolute truth today. It's very important to understand this. Now, ये भागवतम का जो वर्स है, what does it say? Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma और भगवान. So, first of all, इसको one by one हम लोग देखते हैं. Learned transcendentalist. Anyone knows what is the meaning of transcendental? Very good, very good. That's one understanding of transcendental, higher and higher and higher. Yes, anyone can refine that definition a little bit more. What is transcendental?
One who has transcends in different modes. So it has gone to a higher mode.
Okay. Okay. So he has introduced a new term. One who has transcendented, what did he say? Higher what? Modes. M-O-D-E-S. One who has overcome or one who has crossed through the lower modes. Now ये क्या है? ये lower mode. What is this lower mode, higher mode? Okay. So I'm going to introduce 3 terms today. Okay. And then we will not talk about those 3 terms in great detail today. But we will just introduce that only to explain to you what is the meaning of transcendental. So next time, because transcendental is a very transcendental word. It's not a very commonly used word in English, right? So we'll try and understand it properly today. Most of you are from India. So you have heard of Sattva Gun, Rajo Gun and Tamo Gun. Suna hai aapne? Everyone has heard? For you. There are 3 modes in which a human being normally operates. Actually, we operate in a mixture of these 3 modes. In a mix of these 3 modes. Okay? So humans tend to operate in mode of goodness. Sattva Gun is called as what? Mode of goodness. Rajo Gun means what? Mode of passion. And Tamo Gun means mode of ignorance. I repeat. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Okay. GPI. Goodness, passion, ignorance. GPI. Remember GPI if you want to. Right? I'm going to only give examples because we are going to do when we come back, okay, in January, we will be discussing these 3 modes in great detail. Okay, and it will be a lot of fun, right? It's a very humorous topic also in one sense. Modes, different modes of nature, because that characterizes our personality types also. Modes of material nature. We are influenced by these 3 modes. An example I'll give you an example of each. What is an example of mode of goodness? Oh, this man is always in the mode of goodness. What is that person? What happens? What do we see in a person who is in the mode of goodness? Usually, we see the person who is in mode of goodness having certain qualities and doing certain activities. Having certain qualities and doing certain activities. Okay. The mode of goodness person, what does he usually do? What qualities he has? Mode of goodness qualities that the person is usually cool, cool-headed, serene, right? Kind, gentle, respectful. These are all what? Qualities of mode of goodness. Is there anyone in mode of goodness here? Everyone. Very good. Who said that? Very good. All of us are in mode of goodness for some time in a day. Right? Right? We vacillate like this. Essay. Sometimes what happens? We are captured by the mode of goodness. Sometimes we are captured by the mode of passion. And sometimes we are captured or subjugated by the mode of ignorance. So there's no one person. Sometimes people say, he's a very good man. Ask his wife. She'll tell you when he yells at her. Right? Right? So is he not a good man? No. When he was good, he was simply acting under the mode of goodness. Right? So this is mode of goodness. Serene, tranquil, gentle, kind. What kind of activities do these people do? They always want to do something good for others. They want to, and that others starts with everything outside of their self. Not for me, for others. For example, mode of goodness is characterized by doing something good for our wife, for our children, for our parents, for our brothers, for our sisters, for our relatives, for our society, for our community, for our nation, for mankind, and sometimes for all living entities including animals. This is the sphere of mode of goodness. इस दायरे में इतने दायरे में काम कर सकता है आदमी. Mode of goodness, this much realm of activities is available to someone who is in the mode of goodness. What are the realms? My family, my society, my community, my nation, international world, and then not even human beings, even animals, right? So so these are the type of activities these people are engaged in. These activities in English are sometimes called as philanthropic activities, okay? And they are usually called as good Samaritans. Good Samaritans. Achhe log. Achha karya. Right? For example, someone opens an old age home. Okay? It's a great activity. Someone nurses the weak. Someone does free treatment for the blind, for the poor people. Right? These are all good activities. Everyone agrees? Yes, they are all good activities. Nobody will deny this. Right? So this is called as mode of goodness. The second mode is called as mode of passion. Mode of goodness and mode of passion are different. In mode of goodness, what happens? You are driven. What drives you to do something good for others? Mode of passion is characterized mostly by activities which we do for our own self. Right? What is an example of mode of passion? Earning money. Right? Yeah. Earning money, right? And more money. Yes? Going to Black Friday sale. Yes. This is mode of passion. No, you can go to Black Friday sale in mode of goodness also. Right? For example, we could be going to Black Friday sale and buying something for someone who is for buying a gift for someone else, not for us. Right? So, mode of passion is typically characterized by an intense inclination to always do some activity or the other. You can't keep a passionate person in one place. Right? You have to keep them busy. रजोगुण का जो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है उसमें क्या है? काम करना, कुछ करते रहना. उनको एक जगह में बैठ के नहीं रह सकते हो, बिठा के नहीं रह सकते हो. Passion is driving them. I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, I want to achieve that, right? Some people who are under mode of passion, they find it extremely difficult to live which life? Retired life. I lived in Japan for almost 1.5 years in Tokyo. Oof, height of mode of passion, right? People commit suicide after retirement in Japan. I had never heard of this. People commit suicide because they don't know what to do with their life once they are retired. Because they have no goal. They are always used to being given work and working. Extremely hardworking people. Extremely hardworking people. So they don't know what to do with their life. And it is said in Japan, you are looked down upon if you come home early from office. So I worked in Japan. Needless to say, I couldn't bear it after 1.5 years. Okay, we can't work like that, right? So after that, thankfully, my company sent me to the Wild West, Los Angeles, where Thursday itself they say it's weekend, man. People come in shorts on Thursday to office. Very good, suited me very well, right? So that's mode of passion, characterized by activity, working. And if you ask someone who is in the mode of goodness, what is the goal of life? They say to be a good human being, to serve everyone. That is what a mode of goodness, a person in mode of goodness will say that. Mode of passion fellow, what he'll say? Work is worship. Mera kaam hi mera dharma hai. This is what? Mode of passion, because it's driven by activity, work like that. Okay. Nothing is wrong about it. We are not talking right wrong. Huh? Please remove the right wrong bias from your mind. Otherwise, we'll become judgmental on everything. We are not talking right wrong. These are the dualities of the material world. Okay, we are always used to judging something. Stop judging for some time. Just take it neutrally. That human beings operate under mode of goodness, under mode of passion. The third is mode of ignorance, which in Sanskrit is called as Tamogun. Sattva gun, Rajogun and Tamogun. What is the characteristic of Tamogun? The characteristic of mode of passion is activity. The characteristic of mode of ignorance is inactivity. Okay. In English, if I have to give you synonyms, it's called indolence or laziness or sloth. Okay. This is activities in the mode of ignorance. Inactivity is bad. Can I say like that? Inactivity is very bad. One must always be active. True or false? False. Inactivity has to be there. Otherwise, nobody will go to sleep. What do we do when we sleep? We are running or what? Inactivity has its rightful place. Everything has its rightful place. That's why I'm saying, do not judge. Put that judgmental mind away for some time. See it neutrally. Human beings are driven by these three modes. Right? Transcendental word. Now I am introducing transcendental. Transcendental activities are activities which are beyond these three modes. Does it make sense? Transcendental activities are activities beyond these three modes. Now, if anyone wants to know in Sanskrit, usko kya kehte hain? It is called as Shuddha Sattva. Tamogun, mode of ignorance. Rajogun, mode of passion. Sattva gun, mode of goodness, and transcendental is mode of pure goodness, or it is called as what? Shuddha Sattva. Okay. Now, yes.
So is this like your conscious centers in ways, like your chakras?
Your japa?
I don't know what that
Yeah,
is.
yeah. That's a transcendental activity.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's a transcendental activity. Good, yeah. Good capture. Very early on. I have not even explained, but you got it. Okay. But yes, I'll explain in simple example. The simplest example of operating under mode of pure goodness is to keep away our hat. Stop thinking that I am a good man. Am I making sense? If you want to operate under mode of pure goodness, we have to give up the conception that I am a very good person and I am doing a good activity. Okay? when we stop thinking, I am the doer, that's an example of operating under the mode of pure goodness. Does it make sense? Why this is important is, suppose I give you a gift, I helped you, right? I'll tell you an English song. I helped my good friend's brother out of trouble when he was in jail. Have you heard this song? No one heard this song? Okay. This was a music group called Chicago many years back. I helped my good friend's brother out of trouble when he was in jail. Right? He never said a thank you at all. That fellow didn't even tell me a thank you. I did for him. I am a good man. I did for him. I did for him. I did for him. The old world doesn't care for me, but I am a good man. I'll continue doing good. Does it make sense? So, acting in the mode of goodness means doing an activity which is good, but still doing it thinking that I am the doer. This is one characteristic of mode of goodness. Please understand. That's why it's not considered good. The second characteristic of mode of goodness is expecting something in return. What is that? मैंने क्या क्या नहीं किया तेरे लिए, तूने क्या किया सनम बेवफा. You know, what all did I not do for you, and what did you give me back in return? So thinking I am the doer and thinking that I have done, therefore I should at least receive a thank you. When you wanted $10,000 loan I gave you, at least you can smile at me and say good morning to me. Don't you remember I gave you $10,000 when you needed? This is the problem with mode of goodness. What is the problem? Expectation. Okay, identifying that I am the one who did it, and because I did it, expecting something in return. That is why it is said mode of goodness is good, but it is not the best. What happens? With expectations comes frustration. Right? Because we expect. Right? So this is mode of goodness. Simply speaking, now tell me one thing. Speaking the truth, is it in mode of goodness, mode of passion, or mode of ignorance? Truth. I will always say the truth and never lie. Someone says like that, good man? Okay. Good? Yeah? Always speaking truth. Satyameva jayate. I will always speak the truth.
Not in every case.
Ah, who said that? Not in every case. Tell me one case when it is not good to tell the truth.
Especially when we are saying somebody's, we don't like anything in somebody.
We don't like anything in somebody, so we never give them true feedback.
So many people don't like to listen to that.
Okay.
So honest feedback, that's what she's saying.
Yeah, okay. Honest feedback. Okay. Okay.
Usually, like, if you really need to lie once, like, you can, if to make someone feel better, just to make someone feel better, maybe.
Very good. Very mature.
Only,
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Good. Go ahead. Don't stop him. Yeah.
like, if you need to lie in a really hard scenario or something.
Good. Very good.
If for
Yes.
the benefit of someone, if we are saying something like
Yes.
not genuine,
Yes.
that's okay, I think.
Yes.
But is that benefiting them or yourself?
Sorry?
Is that benefiting them or yourself?
I don't know. In this example, who does it benefit? Again, somebody will say, you should have told me. Correct? You should have told me that I have this disease. You never told me that. Maybe they'll say that you should have told me, you kept it, you lied to me. Right? So it's got two things. I'll give you a very simple example. Okay? Suppose outside this road, there is a lady running. And there is a man running behind to molest her. Okay? And that lady comes running inside this house and she takes shelter in this house. And that man comes on the road and our Dipankar Prabhu is outside. And that man asks, did you see a lady here? Oh yes, she went inside. I never tell lies. Never. Satyameva jayate. That lady has gone inside. Please go and molest her. Truth, he said. Truth. Truth is the highest virtue. What do you think? What do you think? Is this truth? What is the use of that truth which actually takes someone to irreligion? What is the use of such truth? Therefore, it is said that mode of goodness has also got shades of imperfections. Does it make sense? Mode of goodness also has shades of imperfections, right? Because this is the most challenging. People cannot accept. How can you say that mode of goodness is bad? That's why we get all these examples, right? Mode of passion, easy to understand. What is problem with mode of passion? What is problem with mode of passion? Suicide after retirement. Yeah. Yeah. Mode of passion is driven by activities for our own self. And what happens when we work hard, and then we buy our car after that? 55,000. What is that? Volkswagen Passat. No, not Passat. What is that? Something. I don't know. Whatever car will come for that price. Right? When you spend 55,000, 75,000, 100,000, when you save money over many, many years and then you buy your car, what happens after that? What happens between you and the car? Attachment. Intense attachment to that car.
मेरा जान किसने छुआ तुझे?
No. Oh, my dear love, my dear car, who touched you from behind? There is a small scratch on my car. $75,000. Correct? Attachment comes. Why attachment comes? Because so much of activity has gone into affording that thing. Same thing happens with house also. Attachment. Right? After some time, nobody bothers about the car. The wife has to tell the husband, at least vacuum sometimes. It's stinking. Oh yeah, I'll go and buy $2 perfume. Right? But intense attachment happens. This is the problem with mode of passion. Now, what is the problem? What is mode of ignorance? We didn't discuss that. Mode of passion is all about activity and attachment. Mode of goodness is also about activity and expectations. Right? And what about mode of ignorance? What is that? What is mode of ignorance characterized by? Inactivity. Right? Mode of ignorance means some of the activities are drink and sleep. Let the world run. Right? Inactivity. I don't want to work. Government anyway gives me Centrelink. Let those fellows work. Even if somebody calls me for interview, if they know what is the spelling of computer, I'll say I don't know. So that I can continue getting Centrelink. If I pass the interview, I'll have to work. Right? So this is called as what? Mode of ignorance. Expecting others to always keep working, and then we just sleep and relax. Of course, mode of ignorance is also characterized by activities in ignorance, which is, for example, stealing or take drugs. All these things are characterized by mode of intoxication, right? Sorry to say, even eating meat is considered in the mode of ignorance, right? We will talk about that later because I don't want to get into that controversial subject matter today, right? It's considered as an activities food in ignorance, right? We will have to keep that steady. Okay. Sorry. Because it's distracting me. So mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So transcendental, from now onwards we will understand transcendental as that mode which is beyond these three modes. Right? I'll give you an example of transcendental activity, but we will not discuss that today. Otherwise we'll completely digress, and for the next 3 hours we can keep discussing this. Bhagavad Gita, Arjun wanted to do what? What was his choice? To forget it. I'll go and retire in the forest. I don't want to fight this battle. But Lord Krishna, what did he tell him? Pick up the bow and arrow and kill those fellows. Now, killing is an activity in mode of ignorance, mode of passion, or mode of goodness. What do you think? Killing is an activity in mode of ignorance. Okay. Again, I'm not going to elaborate on this. I'm just going to leave you with this point, but we'll discuss it later on because we still don't have the full foundation to understand Bhagavad Gita. So please hold on to your question. I know questions will come. I'm not going to answer them today. When we act under the instruction of God, okay, that activity becomes transcendental. Even the activity of killing. Please do not mistake this for what they call as, jihad or whatever, the nonsense people talk. We are not talking about that right now. Please understand. We are talking about if a lady is being molested, insulted, okay, and if the person doesn't even have remorse and that person becomes a leader, if not corrected, he will continue doing that activity. What do you think? We counseled him once, we counseled him twice, we counseled him thrice, but that person will not listen. What do you think has to be done? We have to give capital punishment, right? What do you think is done for serial offenders in the United States, right? Serial rapists, serial murderers, right? What is the thing? We have to. What to do? They don't even have remorse for whatever they are doing. They will be a nuisance if left alive in society, right? So sometimes, always speaking on the moralistic platform, oh, you should not, killing is bad, that is only on the moral platform. But right now, so speaking on the moral platform is mode of goodness. Speaking on the spiritual platform is mode of transcendental goodness. Please understand this example very clearly. Do not misuse this example. Oh, I slapped him because you told that transcendental. No, not like that. The situation has to be absolutely, it has to warrant for it to be a spiritual activity. Does that make sense? For example, if someone is coming with a torchlight to set fire to the temple, to desecrate the deities in the temple, what will you do? You will say, no, I'll sit, non-violence. No. Violence is required to stop violence sometimes. Does that make sense? But never to propagate violence. Violence is required sometimes to stop violence. Otherwise, if all the cops, let's say our army is going, and the terrorists are hiding in a hotel, and then all our army says, Om Shanti, Shanti. What do you think? The terrorists will understand that language? So what do you have to do at that time? What is the duty? Pick up the gun and kill those fellows. Simple. So please understand the example very carefully. We are not propagating violence, right? Violence is not required. But that violence which is required for long-term non-violence is actually the greatest form of non-violence. This you will understand when the Lord Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. That dharma which he is talking about is real religion. Real religion means what? That all living entities must be allowed to live their lives without fear of being harmed by the miscreants. And if such miscreants come in leadership positions, yes, we will go with a peace proposal to them. Krishna did. He went to Duryodhan. He went with a peace proposal. He said, please do not do this. I will give you whatever. In fact, Krishna said, I will give you. Do you want? He said that all the Pandavas needed. You may not probably relate to it because you have not studied Bhagavad Gita. Just please bear with us for 2 minutes. So the Pandavas needed only 5 villages. Krishna asked, at least give 5 villages. He was the king of everything, Duryodhan. 5 villages was nothing. Why? Krishna asked, because they are Kshatriyas. They have to rule something. It's their nature to rule, right? But what did Duryodhan say? I have no remorse for whatever I did to Draupadi. On top of that, I will not even give 1 pin of land. Right? So Krishna said, even now there is a chance to avoid war. Please do not do this. Please act fairly. No, they will not listen. Right? Vidura also instructed Dhritarashtra. He said, please tell your son is causing havoc. He will not listen because he was attached to his son. Right? Right? Even Osama bin Laden's father is also attached to Osama bin Laden. My son, what did he do after all? It's just a twin tower. Right? A father can be so blind that he can be totally oblivious to what his son is creating havoc in society. So that was Dhritarashtra mentality. Therefore, after all the peace proposal failed, still Krishna went and asked Duryodhan, I am giving you first choice. You want me or you want my army? If he would have said, I want you, Krishna would have still succeeded. Okay, my instruction is don't do war. But he said, I want your army and I'll fight against you only. This is arrogance, right? And arrogance, there is only one way. Arrogance cannot be sorted out in any other way. It is required dand, punishment. So punishment is not wrong, right? So therefore, please understand, this is very important to understand. Human beings, we can act under the mode of ignorance, under the mode of passion, under the mode of goodness, or we can choose to act under the mode of Shuddha Sattva, which means nothing but acting under the instructions and guidance of the Lord, acting in accordance with scriptural injunctions, acting in accordance with scriptures. So if the scriptures say, in this scenario, tell a lie, we tell a lie. Does it make sense? If the scriptures say dharma, in this case dharma means telling a lie, it is to tell a lie. If you tell a truth at that time, that is not dharma. Does that make sense? Yeah? And I gave you examples also, how truth in all contexts is not the absolute virtue. Okay? So this is just to categorize or differentiate between moral and transcendental. Transcendental is above moral. Does it make sense? Because in throughout our school, nobody has taught us transcendental science. We have always had subjects with maximum up to moral science. That too, that was not counted for the exam marks when I was a student. So nobody studied for that, right? That was the most important subject. No one studied that, right? Okay, so these are the three modes. So learned transcendentalists who are beyond these three modes, who are absolutely spiritual people, who have seen the absolute truth. What have they realized about the absolute truth? They realized the absolute truth in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Last two classes, we discussed what is Brahman, right? Quiz. What is Brahman? All the souls are one, that is Brahman. Yes, okay, that is an understanding of Brahman. What is Brahman? Very good. Who said that? Very good. Brahman is the effulgence that comes out from the body of Bhagavan. It is called as the Tejas. In Gujarati we keep name Tejas. Tejas means what? Very effulgent. Kya Tejas hai iske chehre mein? People who are very spiritual, you will see a radiance on their face, right? Who are living very pure lives. It reflects in their face, right? Very effulgent people, right? The Buddha, when they say enlightenment, like that. They are very effulgent. If you see very great personalities, they carry an effulgence with them. That's because of their purity of their heart, which is devoid of pride, anger, greed, envy and lust. These things, when they are not there, the lesser and less this is there in our heart, the more and more we become effulgent, right? So, the effulgence which comes, actually it is said, from the toenails of the Lord. The effulgence which comes from the toenails of the Lord, that is called as what? Brahman. And that effulgence is not like this bulb. How much illumination can this bulb give? Hardly one part of a room. But that Brahman is all pervading, all throughout existence, right? I'll explain in another way. We discussed that Brahman is the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth. Sagun Sakar, Nirgun Nirakar. That Brahman is what transcendentalists call as divine light. Right? Go to near death experience website. Near death experience, where people have gone and come back into their bodies. Right? Not all of them. Some of them have come back and they could relate all the conversations that happened in the hospital because they were above their body, right? And then they came back into the body. And actually they were very happy outside this body, right? But then they had to come back. And when they come back, they become very different human beings after that. They've all said that we changed. Our perspective of life completely changed after that experience. But anyway, we'll not talk about that. But some cases, some people said, I was moving towards a divine light. Many people have said that experience. Now, everybody will not lie, correct? It was a corridor, and I went through that corridor and I could see a light. I can't describe the peace and tranquil in that light. That light is that Brahman. Does it make sense? If you can relate to it, that is what it is said. It is not mythology or, it's not mythology. This is what is the absolute truth, right? So that is that Brahman. That is one more aspect of Brahman. What is the third aspect of Brahman that I told you last time? Remember? Brahman is the primeval, very good, cosmic substance. Brahman is the primeval cosmic substance. Everything that is there in this world has come through that raw material called as Brahman. It is the raw material of all raw materials. Plastic comes from resin, resin comes petrochemicals. You keep going like that. Petroleum, earth. Earth came from where? From Brahman. Right? Actually, earth came from what is called as Pancha Tattva. I will not get into that detail. I will tell you that later. Pancha Tattva came from something called as Pradhan. Pradhan came from Brahman. And I will tell you about all that later. Not now. That's advanced Bhagavad Gita. Not now. Right now we will keep it simple. Right? Please understand, everything came from Brahman. Therefore everything is Brahman. It's simple as that. Simple as that. Right? We took the example. Which example did we take to understand Brahman? The sun, the sunlight. The sunlight is the sun also and not the sun also at the same time. Right? The sunlight is the effulgence coming out from the sun, which is a part of the sun. Sun is nothing without sunlight. Right? Sun is just an orange, that's all. Without sunlight, we wouldn't even exist to tell anything. Right? So sun and sunlight are one and the same. Sunlight is the impersonal aspect of the sun, and sun is the form of the sun. The round thing, that is the form aspect of the sun. Right? Let us understand that. Okay? And the person who is in charge of the sun, who controls the movement of the sun, that person is the controller of the sun. Okay? Okay, we'll come to that little later again. Okay, just understand this much. Brahman, everyone understood now? Clear? Now, we are all our bodies, correct?
No.
I was just thinking, who is nodding? We are not our bodies. Who are we? We are spirit soul. Who are we? We are not this body. We are the resident of this body. I am the person who is speaking. My mouth is not speaking right now. My tongue is not speaking. Whoever is speaking is that I. And that I, who is that I? Brahman. I am that Brahman. Right? I, the soul, what is the raw material of the soul? Okay, let me put it in that way. What is the raw material of the soul? Brahman. What is the raw material of the body? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's called as Panchabhuta, Mahat Tattva. That is matter. Whereas I am not matter. What am I made of? Pure spirit. That spirit is Brahman. That is why Bhagavad Gita starts with what? Aham Brahmasmi. Now I am giving you one, what is that called as? Whatever, shloka or whatever you can say. Aham Brahmasmi. Remember this. I am spirit, soul. I am not this body. Right? And Brahman is eternal. I am just a small particle of the universal absolute truth. Does it make sense? I am one aspect. Mamaiva amsha jiva loke. I am one small particle of that infinite Brahman that is everywhere, all pervading light. So in that sense, I am that. I am spirit soul. Okay? Learned transcendentalists who have studied the absolute truth, who have understood the absolute truth, this is the first aspect that they understand. That we are Brahman. Is that enough? Is that the highest understanding? No. That's not the highest understanding. It is a correct understanding. But it is not the highest understanding. Right? It's not the highest understanding. Higher than that is understanding of Paramatma. Yes, I am spirit soul, but inside my body, I have got a friend. Who is that friend called as? Paramatma or super soul, right? Who guides me or who stops me sometimes when I want to do something wrong. He says, don't do it. That is the voice of the super soul. And we discussed last time, why does the super soul come along with us into this rotten material world? Because God never wants to leave his children alone. You remember the example of the mother going secretly to the school? When the daughter is or son is very small, mother says, I am also going to come and stand outside your school. Right? So, God loves us. He has sent us to this jail of material existence, but he says, no, I will also come with you. And he comes into each and every living entity. That localized aspect of God, of the absolute truth, is called as what? Paramatma. Does Paramatma have form? Does Brahman have form? No. Nirgun, Nirakar. Does Paramatma have form?
Yes.
Yes. What is the form of Paramatma?
Lord Krishna's form.
What is the form of Paramatma? How many hands? How many hands? Remember? 4. Paramatma. Sometimes Paramatma is also called as Hiranyagarbha. Right? Paramatma has got 4 and the 4-handed form of Paramatma. Who realizes Paramatma? Which kind of yogis have Paramatma realization? The Dhyan yogis. People who do go to the Himalayas and meditation. Because where is that Paramatma? Inside. They go inside, inwards and realize that Paramatma. Right? By Jnana Yoga, you attain what realization? Brahman. Through the process of spiritual knowledge, when you perfect spiritual knowledge, what will you realize? You will realize that light. That is the perfection of Jnana Yoga. The perfection of Dhyana Yoga, meditative process, is what? Paramatma realization. Wherein the localized aspect Paramatma comes in front of your eyes and gives you what? Gives you what? Darshan. Darshan. Please, again I am repeating so that this is absolutely clear to all of you. The first step of perfection in spiritual life is what? Understanding the divine light, the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Right? The second is understanding the personal form of the localized aspect of God, Bhagavan. Now the highest aspect, higher than that is what? What can be higher than seeing the Lord? What can be higher than seeing the Lord? Tell me, remember previous class. Having a relationship with the Lord. Which example did I take for that? Amitabh Bachchan in the flight when I was flying to Los Angeles. Remember that example, everyone? I was seeing Amitabh Bachchan, but Jaya Bachchan was feeding Amitabh Bachchan. Lijiye na, khaiye na. She was feeding. It's a great personality. It's like Tom Cruise's wife feeding Tom Cruise in a flight. I can only see Tom Cruise, but I don't have a relationship with him. I can say, hey Tom, how's it going? And Tom says, hey man, how's your cold, Tom? I don't know anything about Tom. Tom doesn't know even who I am. He doesn't know of my existence. What if I can have a relationship with that great personality? What if Sachin Tendulkar can be my best friend? Right? It's even more special than simply watching Tendulkar, standing and waving to everyone. Right? Or having a personal meeting with Tendulkar. There's no relationship. He's just signing an autograph and I'm one among thousands. Right? So that is relationship. So can we have relationship with Brahman? No. We can only merge into Brahman and understand that we are non-different, right? With Paramatma, yes, you can have a temporary darshan. You can see Paramatma, but you can't have a relationship, eternal relationship, because Paramatma itself is a localized aspect only relevant as long as we are living in this material world, right? You don't need Paramatma in the spiritual world. Does mother need, when you go home, does your mother say, I will come with you home? It logically doesn't make sense, no? Mother will only come when the child is going outside the house. But when you are already with the Lord all the time, then there is no function of Paramatma. At that time, what is it? It is Bhagavan. Now, why this Bhagavan is the absolute highest understanding of Absolute truth as Bhagavan. Why it is important, I will explain now, and we will end the class after that. Why? Because only when you realize Bhagavan realization, you will have a relationship with the Lord. There are 5 types of relationship which you can have with God. There are 5 types. Okay? Please bear with us for 14 minutes more. We'll try and make it 9 minutes, 5 minutes for questions. Right? Bear with us for 9 minutes. I'll try and explain as simple as I can make it. The first relationship, these 5 are in a hierarchical order. These 5 are in a hierarchical order. It's just like saying head of department, general manager, vice president, senior vice president, CEO, something like that, president and CEO. It's like saying that. 5 gradations of relationships. ध्यान से सुनिए, भगवान के साथ 5 टाइप के रिश्ते बन सकते हैं हमारे. 5 types of relationship. The first relationship, the lowest of all, after we attain spiritual world, is what? It's called Shantaras. Santa, not the Santa of Christmas. Shantaras. Shantaras means that my relationship, I am very happy in the spiritual world just observing the Lord's activities and pastimes. Okay? Now, if you want to have a material example, you will say, no, I can't understand this. How can someone be just happy observing someone? Right? I will tell you a Hindi song, because Bollywood everyone understands. Right? This was a song of the yesteryears. Sunaina, Sunaina. Have you heard this song? इन नज़ारों को तुम देखो और मैं तुम्हें देखते हुए देखूं. Have you heard this song or no? Or only I have heard? My goodness, man. I am the most rotten of, stooped in Bollywood fully. Huh? What happened?
It's like 97.
97, my Jamana. Okay. But I'll tell you what this song means. It means that the hero is so besotted with the heroine. He says, in nazaron ko tum dekho, oh my dear heroine, beautiful woman, this nature and all, this beautiful nature, whatever is, has been created, you see all this. I only want to see you because I am besotted with your beauty. I can't take my eyes off your beauty, my dear heroine. Now, this is why I gave that Bollywood example. Now, even if you have not heard this song, you remember this example. You will understand what I mean by what. My idea was not to give you Bollywood song. What is my idea? To explain what is Shantaras and put it inside your head. This is Shantaras. Shantaras in English, if I have to translate, is passive adoration. What did I say? Passive adoration of Lord. Which means you just want to keep seeing Krishna coming, playing the flute, he is dancing with his gopis, right? This is all what? Passive adoration, right? So, passiveness has a place even in the realm of Shuddha Sattva. Passiveness has a place even in the realm of... Now, I'll tell you why. You will say, hang on, how is this going to please the Lord? How is it going to please God that I am always watching him? It is pleasing to me because I am besotted with his beauty, so I can keep on seeing him timelessly. But how does it please him? For example, when we tell a joke, don't we want an audience to laugh? Right? When we dress up nicely, don't we want anyone to see it? When we wear our, what is that? Tommy Hilfiger, don't we want to show? Brand, see, it's written here, Tommy Hilfiger. Please see, right? Why do people want branded clothes? For quality? Right? It should be loud. Guess. Louis Vuitton. People wear like this. Inside that Louis Vuitton bag, nothing can be kept anyway. It's such a small purse. People must be carrying some backpack later on, which is in the car. Right? But they'll carry like this. Right? Why? Because everyone likes to show their opulence. So, if we have that in us, where does it come from? God. Right? He also wants an audience. Right? He also wants an audience. And He is very happy when we, of course, his activities are not material like our activities. He doesn't need to show off. He is naturally very beautiful, right? But Lord also likes that his devotees see his pastime. He also wants spectator. In Mathura, when God entered and when he was wrestling with those wrestlers which Kamsa had sent, at that time what happened? There were spectators who were cheering, right? Why does sports become nowadays more interesting? Because there are people who are cheering. If you take everyone out of the stadium, then who cares what happened in the stadium? Actually it is, in Hindi we say charane ka murgi barane ka masala, right? The whole activity of just someone throwing something and then someone hitting it has become so glorified because of advertisements, media, cheerleaders, audience. Virat, Kohli, right? All this adds to the whole excitement. So people who are spectators, who are watching and cheering, this is what is called as Shantaras. We are not going there and batting. Are we helping him bat? Oh Virat, let me massage your feet so that you can bat very well. There is no service involved here. There is only cheering. But does that cheering not help the people perform? When someone cheers us, does it not give us happiness? That is Shantaras. Okay? Did we understand? I am trying to make a very spiritual subject matter easy. Please pardon my material examples. But I can't relate to you otherwise what it is. Right? Higher than that is, if let's say Virat Kohli had, the ball from who is the bowler? Pat Cummins, bouncer has hit Virat Kohli, he is struggling. And then I have some special healing power. I am running into the field and I am touching Virat Kohli and saying, Om Shanti Om. And then suddenly his headache goes away. All this injury goes away. What have I done now? One is, Virat Kohli is a sportsman. He is an Indian cricketer, right? Who everyone loves, right? He is considered as one of the best batsmen in the world, right? Everyone loves him in India, hopefully. Okay? Right? So let us say we go and serve him in some way. That is called as Dasyaras. That is considered higher relationship with God. Am I making sense now? Shantaras, cheerleader. Dasyaras, active service, right? Or Virat Kohli is saying, I don't know, Anushka is alone with the baby in India. I don't know what. Virat, don't worry. You concentrate on the match. I will change your baby's nappies. Anushka is not well nowadays. She takes rest. She has done enough. She has to go for some shooting. I will take care of her baby. You don't worry, Virat. You focus on the match. This is called as what? Serving that person based on that person's need at that point in time. This is called as Dasyaras. When we do all this to the Lord, that is called as what? Dasya. Dasya means relationship with the Lord in servitude. Again I am repeating. What is Shantaras? Shantaras means relating with the Lord in passive adoration. Dasyaras means relating with the Lord in servitude. Okay? This is the second type of ras. Higher than that is what? I will give you an example. Do you ever meet your school friends? Okay, what do they come and tell you? Oh, we respect you. We want to touch your feet. Take your blessings. What if your friends start dealing with you like that? They say, hang on man, pagal ho gaya kya? College mein saath mein jane do. Right? We were good friends. Why are you bringing this formality? Would you like to be formal with your friends? Does your best friend come and ask, am I allowed to eat from your plate? Will he ask you like that, your friend? He'll snatch that thing from your hand. Hey, mera hai. Mera aam maar liya tune? No, mera plate maar liya. Does it give you happiness, or you say, it's not morally correct. Under the law 310 section, it's not good to take from another's plate. Will you talk like that with your friend? He'll say, yeda ho gaya kya? Correct? Correct? He'll say, why can't we be natural, man? We are friends. Between friends, suppose your friend calls you, sorry to say that, in an unparliamentary way, will you take offense to it? In college, what do you think we used to call our friends? Has anyone called his friend with first name? Ever? Especially in hostel? Never. Friends can call each other by anything and nobody feels bad. Where is that coming? Where is that tendency coming to us from? From God. Arjuna is kicking Krishna. He is kicking Krishna throughout in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is giving kicks to Krishna. You know why? Because a charioteer, you cannot tell charioteer, take left, take right, go straight. left on Collins Street, then after that hook turn. No, that's not the way the passenger talks. Charioteer are supposed to give instructions through their feet. He is kicking God, Krishna, and Krishna doesn't. He doesn't say, "Hey, kisko pair lagaya? Who did you kick? I am supreme personality of God. How dare you touch your feet to me?" Did he say like that? No. Krishna is only serving his friend. In Vrindavan, people are wrestling with the Lord. Those God's friends, who are the cowherd boys, they are jumping on top of him and they are beating him. And who wins? Who wins? The friends are winning. God is losing that wrestling match with his friends. And still he is very happy. If you can't relate to this, simple example. When you wrestle with your son, small son, ultimately who wins? That gives you more happiness. True or false? Do you say, "No, I am powerful, I will sit on top of you. End of matter." Right? No. We want that little child to win. God is also like that. He derives pleasure from friendships, from stealing from friends' lunch plate. And the friends also steal his lunch. That's the pastimes of the Lord. That is higher even than service. Krishna says, "Okay, everyone folding hands with me all the time. Sometimes it's enough. No, I'm not always God. Come on, I want to forget that I am God for some time. I want to have natural relationship, friendship with people." That is called as Sakhyaras. Higher than that. You will say, what is higher than friendship? What is higher than friend? Who is? All friends are good, but higher than friends are what? Who? Parents. Right? Higher than friends are parents. Correct? Unless someone has an abusive parents. I don't know about that. Okay. But everything goes well, that way you can have abusive friends also. Right? But if everything goes well, higher than friends are parents. Now what is the significance of parental relationships? How is it different from servitude? When you are a servant of God, when something calamity comes to you, you still go to God and say, "Please save me. I am your servant. Please protect me." Right? We are used to going to God for protection. Right or no? If something happens to us, we go and pray, right? "Please protect me, my dear Lord." But in parental, which is called as Vatsalyaras, in Gujarat, have you heard of Vallabhacharya? Heard of Vallabhacharya? Pushti Marg, right? Laddu Gopal, small Krishna, right? So, what is that? That is Vatsalyaras. That is higher than even friendship. Why? Because when you want to parent God himself, please understand, when you want to parent the Supreme Father, when you want him as your child, then what is your mood towards him? That I will protect God. Does it make sense? Yashoda is always worried not whether Krishna will come and protect her. Yashoda is always worried that, has my baby Krishna eaten something? Kuch khaya hai usne? Has he hurt his feet walking in Vrindavan? Because the stones are very hard. So, when you go to the realm of that relationship with the Lord, where you don't want protection from him, rather you want to protect him, feed him. Just imagine God. God says, "Hang on, I am the supreme controller, but you have now started controlling me with your love." Then God himself becomes your servant. So this is the realm of what? Vatsalyaras. And higher than that, if you are imagining, what is that? Right? What is that song? Again, I have to sell a Bollywood song. Okay, in Bollywood there is one song. "Tu premi aha, my premi aha, phir kya daddy, kya amma." Remember that song? "Ek bas tu hi प्यार के काबिल सारा जहां है निकम्मा." Everyone remember this song? Sorry, that song came into my mind. When it comes to girlfriend, people leave their parents also. When it comes to wife, parents also. Old relationship, right? Right? So every mother-in-law will have this complaint. After this lady has come to my house, my son has now, is no longer the same. This is the way of world, right? We go through it. Our parents have gone through it. Our parents have also gone through this lamentation, right? Now, I'm sorry again. I gave this example to just establish that God enjoys, that God is controlled more by his wives than by his mother, right? Just like a husband is controlled more by wife more than mother, right? Same way. Why it happens in our life? Because it's all coming from him. So when Satyabhama, who is his wife, gets angry at the Lord, then what happens? The Lord is running behind her, pacifying. Kya ho gaya? What happened to you? He doesn't say, I am God, I created you. No. Right? So this is the aspect of conjugal love that the Lord wants to enjoy in his life. God also wants to enjoy conjugal love. Right? Of course, in that also there are varieties. In marriage and outside of marriage. Right? Of course, we will not go into that. It's too early for us to go into that. But please understand, that is Bhagavan. When we talk about Bhagavan relationships, these are all the aspects of relationship with God. This is much, much higher than simply realizing his effulgence or light, Brahman, or simply having darshan of Paramatma. Now you are entering into the personal quarters of God to have a very sweet, loving relationship with him in any of these modes. That is the significance. That is why it is said that this is the Paribhasha Sutra of the entire Vedas. Because in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, Lord Krishna says, Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedya Vedanta krit vedavid eva cha aham. By all the studies of the Vedas, who is that person who you will come to the conclusion? It is me, Krishna says. Why? By all the studies of the Vedas, one would have come to the platform of Brahman, crossed the platform of Paramatma, and gone into the personal realm of relationship with the Lord in any one of these 5 rasas. It's called as ras, right? Shantaras, then Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. Okay? Trust me, I have never introduced this concept so early into any program that I have done over the last 20-25 years. This is the first time something inspired me to introduce it very fast, because you have been a very good audience. That's why. All credits to all of you, right? For your sincerity in wanting to know the absolute truth faster, right? You know why I did that? Because you all have started chanting. That's why I did that. Without chanting, one will never get the intelligence to understand these things. That's why chanting is the most powerful process. It will help us re-establish that relationship by continuously chanting. I wanted to tell you what will you get by chanting. The highest benefit that you will get by chanting is what? That your relationship will be revealed to you through the words of that Mahamantra. That whatever you are chanting, God will start revealing himself to you in those rasas. You will come to know your eternal constitutional position, which we will elaborate next time. Okay, I'll stop here. Ask any questions or comments. Yes.
We have a concept called mindfulness. What kind of what that concept falls under which book?
We have a concept called mindfulness. What does it? What is the definition of mindfulness?
To act consciously for a particular activity with full consciousness.
Yes.
Like whether it is. So is it what kind of a goal?
Okay. So I will give you a simple example. In Sanskrit, can you reduce the noise little bit for just 2 minutes, please? 2 minutes, so that I 2 minutes के लिए और दरवाजा बंद कर दीजिए. Okay, he is asking what is mindfulness. Everyone is talking about mindfulness, right? I'll tell you in very simple language what mindfulness means. Mindfulness means we becoming the controller of our mind and not mind controlling us. That is called as mindfulness, right? We controlling the mind rather than mind driving us. Does it make sense to you? Right? Mind will always take us wherever it wants to take us. Proactive. Again, I'm coming back to Stephen Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people. What is the first habit? Stephen Covey says, for an effective person is able to choose his response. He is not controlled by the situation, and situation sways him into responding in a way which he is not under his own control. Does it make sense? In any situation, if we can keep our mind under control, then we are able to use our intelligence. So wherever there is a preponderance or dominance of intelligence over the mind, that is called as mindfulness. I repeat, wherever the intelligence can control the mind, that is called as mindfulness. What are such people called as in Sanskrit? They are called as Goswamis. Goswami means a person who has got control over one's mind. Such people are also called as Mahatmas or Buddha. People who have got control over their mind, where the mind is not controlling them, where they are in control of their mind. When they say they, who is controlling? The soul is controlling the mind. The mind is not dragging the soul here and there. But obviously the next question is how to control the mind. How can the soul control the mind may not be your question. It was my question. Right? I had this question, but hang on, what should I do? How do I control this mind? The mind is controlled by the soul through the medium of the intelligence. But then why am I not able to control my mind? Because we have still not developed higher intelligence. How do we develop higher intelligence? By studying the scriptures. By studying the Vedas, by studying the scriptures, by studying the Bhagavad Gita, we will get that higher intelligence. So we need knowledge. Without knowledge, intelligence will not develop. So by spiritual knowledge, intelligence develops. And then when intelligence develops, with that intelligence becomes capable of controlling the restless mind. That is what is Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna says, Chanchalam ye mana Krishna. My mind is going here and there, Krishna. Please, I am submitting to you. You please become my guru now. You are my friend, but now you become my spiritual mentor. And Krishna says, okay, dasoham. When he says, I am your servant, I surrender to you, then Krishna starts instructing him the Bhagavad Gita and gives him what? Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means that intelligence by which you can connect with spirituality. That is called as Buddhi Yoga. He says, through this Buddhi Yoga, now you can control your mind. Okay? And that knowledge helps Arjuna take the right decisions on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Right? For us, what is our Kurukshetra? Our office, our personal life. Right? Everywhere, wherever we are acting, that is our Kurukshetra. How do we be more effective in this Kurukshetra? When we purify our intelligence with spiritual knowledge, but not simply spiritual knowledge, with spiritual practice. Simply knowledge will not give realization. We have to practice. And all of you have started practicing the biggest limb of spirituality since last week. Congratulations to everyone. What is that activity you all have started doing? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mataji was asking me a very good question in her first class. You said, why is all this knowledge required? All this knowledge is required to give you conviction to sit and... If someone is very simple-hearted, they say, okay, I don't want any knowledge. I will simply sit and chant. Tomorrow will be the last. Today is the last class. See you all. But no, we will not. Because we are used to losing our faith from time to time. That is why we need this COVID vaccine. One vaccine is not enough. Second mutation, third mutation. Keep giving vaccines. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra has to be done daily. Because material world, the onslaught of this material world is relentless in giving these onslaughts. I will conclude by one point. You remember the class was called as Demigods. Just one name I will introduce today and we will talk after I come back from India now. Durga Devi. Everyone heard of Durga Devi? Right? Durga Devi has got a name Trigunamayi. Does anyone know this? Trigunamayi. What is Durga Devi's weapon in her hand? Trishul. What are those three things? The three modes. Sattvagun, Rajagun and Tamagun. So it is Durga Devi who keeps all of us in these three modes. And when does she release that grip? She releases that grip when Krishna tells her, send this fellow out of the material world now. Send him back. Aane do isko. In Marathi we say, Aplach manus hai. He is my man, my devotee. Send him back to the spiritual world. Don't keep him inside that jail. Durg means what? Durg means a fort. Fortress. So Durga Devi is in charge of this jail of material world. She keeps the people who are not spiritual, she keeps them in this material world, either sleeping or working very hard or doing all this philanthropic work in this world. Right? She keeps them in this world. Now, how she does that will be the subject matter of our next discussion. And that will make you very clear why do bad things happen to good people. All those questions will get cleared after this. Who is Devi Devata? Who is Bhagavan? What is this whole world all about? What is the Gayatri Mantra? Om Bhuhu Bhuva Swaha. What is going on here? All those things will become absolutely clear to you. Okay? But you will have to stay tuned. Do not run away because I have gone to India. Don't take that as opportunity. Okay? What is that? When the cat is away, the mouse is at play. No? Okay, please come back. Please come back. You have been wonderful so far. Please do not deny yourself this opportunity. ये opportunity दोबारा नहीं मिलेगा इस lifetime में. अभी छोड़ दोगे कोई नहीं आने वाला है. Nobody is going to come to you and say, please let me give Bhagavad Gita. Nobody is going to come to you. I'm not saying devotees will come. Only devotees. I may or may not be there, but devotees will only come to you. Please do not take permanent holiday from the class. Amit ji, पूछिए.
Just a question if I
Yes.
get it right.
Yes.
You just said that Paramatma, you can't have a relationship with Paramatma. Did I get it right?
Yes, you cannot have a relationship, eternal relationship with Paramatma.
Just a question on that. You know, Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans. So, in front of him, whenever he called Kali, Kali just, come and sit next to him. And also Dhanu Bhagat. And also Guru Gobind Singh Ji, because of that he's written Chandi Ki Baat. And also Mama Kepan, that's Taramata, he comes whenever he calls, that appears in front of him. And there's a movie there actually in Bengali, especially in where they have fully described how he's done it and everything. So they can have relationship with them. How can we not have a relationship? I think there's a controversy there.
No, there is no controversy. There is only imperfect understanding. There is no controversy. Half understanding. So, can we not have a relationship with Paramatma? The answer is yes. We can have a relationship with Paramatma, but that relationship is not required once you reach the spiritual world. That's what I said, if you remember carefully. Paramatma is Upadrushta Anumanta. You remember last time I told you? He is witness and sanctioner. याद है आपको? मैंने बताया था last class. Paramatma is witness and sanctioner. So we have to develop a relationship with Paramatma as long as we are in this material world, because after that, Paramatma himself manifests as Bhagavan. You already have an eternal relationship. Does it make sense? Then Bhagavan doesn't become a localized aspect inside your heart. You are already living with Bhagavan all the time. So why do you need it? When you are already in Australia, will you need an Australian embassy? In Australia, do you need Australian embassy? You need Australian embassy only when you go outside of Australia to India. Right? So Paramatma is the local embassy of the Lord. So actually Paramatma is not different from Bhagavan. We only said did we say he is different from Bhagavan? We only say these are stages of realization. That's all. Now let us talk about people who are such saintly people who you are talking about. These people who have already realized Bhagavan, right? They are already talking to Bhagavan. They are not talking to Paramatma. Paramatma is required as long as we need guidance 24 hours to keep us on the right track. But when you are already self-realized, when you are Jivan Mukta, you don't need. I'll give you a simple example. Okay, a material example I'll give you. Have you seen a space shuttle? Have you seen a space shuttle? A space shuttle has got what is called as, what payload they call it as? What do they call it? They have got booster rockets. Do you know a space shuttle has got booster rockets? Why do they need booster rockets? Why does a space shuttle need booster rockets? Tell me. To help the space shuttle escape gravity, right? And how does the space shuttle escape gravity? How does the space shuttle escape gravity? I'm talking physics now. Tell me. Huh? Why does that rocket not fall back into the earth? Anything which goes up, if I drop it, it will fall down. Why does the rocket not fall down? You tell me. After gravity, it will not fall down, but gravity is still acting. The space shuttle is not beyond gravity. The space shuttle is not beyond gravity. Yeah. No, it has, okay, I'll explain. I'll cut it short. Because of time, I'll cut short. It has attained what is called as escape velocity. Do you understand? It has attained what is called, oh Krishna, okay. I'll tell you a simple example, children's example. Take a rubber band at home. Take a string and tie a rubber to it. You know what's a rubber? An eraser. Take a string. What happens? The eraser is down, the spring is up. The string is like this, right? Now start rotating that string. What happens? As long as you keep rotating, what happens? The rubber doesn't fall down to earth, right? That is that escape velocity. Do you understand? Simple example too of physics. Okay. So what happens? These booster rockets, they give speed to that. They throw that rocket in such a way that the earth cannot pull it back. And then the rocket, when it reaches a particular point, it starts rotating at that velocity. So it doesn't fall back. When it loses its acceleration velocity, then it will be dragged inside. So that is what it is. Now, rockets are very expensive to launch, right? Why? Because of fuel. So what happens? What does the rocket do? Once it attains that velocity, it is called as jettison. Have you heard the word jettison in English? Jettison. Jettison. Jettison is what? It releases and then those two things fall into the ocean. It's not required anymore. Initially, the load of that becomes a load, burden on the rocket. That which enables the rocket is a burden on the rocket. But when the rocket reaches there, it doesn't need it. There is no relevance to that, right? In one sense, that is Paramatma. When you already attain Bhagavan, to attain Bhagavan, you need to hear the voice of Paramatma. But when you already heard the voice of Paramatma and you already have a relationship with him daily, then you don't need Paramatma after that. Then you already have attained Bhagavan realization. That is the simplest way I can answer your question. Does it make sense, Amitji? Yeah? We are talking about great personalities now. Yeah? Okay. Okay, Prashadam time. Enough of questions?